Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Mahoney, and I want to welcome you to the Awards and Honorees Luncheon. RSNA 2021 presented us with an opportunity to reimagine how we go about honoring our distinguished awardees, and I hope that you enjoy this very distinct, deliberate ceremony to celebrate you today. I'd first like to begin by recognizing our RSNA 2019-2020 president, Dr. James P. Borgstead. Jim has devoted his time and talents during his career to further radiology and to improve access to healthcare throughout the entire world. He brought his knowledge and experience of global radiology to RSNA and strengthened the Society's outreach and its programs internationally. He successfully led RSNA through an unprecedented time in our history, and I'm pleased to have the opportunity to thank him in person today. So Jim, please join me.
Thanks a lot.
So Jim, we're in awe of your many accomplishments throughout your career, and we thank you for your tireless efforts on behalf of RSNA. I'm going to have our picture taken.
Okay. Well, Mary, thanks a lot for your kind introduction, and also thanks a lot for including our 2020 colleagues in this meeting. I'd like to say that last year the RSNA presented the best virtual electronic meeting that has ever been presented in RSNA history. My colleagues also point out it was the only one, so at any rate. So I'm pleased to recognize the 2020 honorees today. And at this time, I want to introduce them and ask them to stand at their table. We have our gold medalists. First, we have Dr. Ronald Aronson. Ron. Next, we have Dr. Bill Thorwarth. Bill. And our third gold medalist is Dr. Kay Vitorini. Kay could not join us today, but please, a round of applause in her honor. And next, we have our honorary members, Dr. Omolola Mojisola Adelabi. And we have Dr. Lorenzo Derci, but he was not able to join us, I believe, as well. And then we have, yes, thank you. And we have Dr. Guillermo Riojas. Dr. Riojas. And we have our outstanding educator, and that award was for Mark Mullins. Dr. Mullins, I don't believe is here, but. And we also have with us today our outstanding researcher from 2020, Dr. David Mankoff. David, please stand. You probably are there, okay. Thank you very much. And please, one more round of applause for all of our 2020 folks. Thank you.
So congratulations to all of last year's attendees and awardees and honorees. And this year, for 2021, 3 RSNA members have been selected to receive the Gold Medal, which is RSNA's highest honor. And they are Dr. Yoshimi Anzai. Oh, no. Dr. Richard Eamon. And Dr. Jonathan Lewin. All right, so we'll start with Dr. Anzai, a prolific leader, collaborator, educator, advocate for vulnerable patients. Dr. Yoshimi Anzai is a tenured professor of radiology, director of value and safety for integrated enterprise radiology. She serves as the co-director of Women in Health Medicine and Science at the University of Utah. Yoshimi is a neuroradiologist specializing in head and neck radiology, neurodegenerative disease, and traumatic brain injury, and she also has expertise in health services and health economy research. She's also an adjunct professor of population health sciences and neurosurgery. She serves on the University of Utah's Academic Senate and is a member of the School of Medicine's Promotion Committee. As chair of RSNA's Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Yoshimi advocates for gender equality, promoting membership and allyship to embrace women as leaders in medicine. She also serves on the executive committee at the University of Utah's Gender-Based Violence Consortium, collaborating with broad disciplines of researchers, social workers, and policymakers to mitigate the negative impact of gender-based violence. Additionally, Yoshimi previously served as the Fellowship Program Director and Section Chief of Neuroradiology at the University of Michigan. She's an elected member of the Association of American Medical Colleges Diagnostic Safety Committee, driving the national standard for diagnostic information communications. The AAMC presented Yoshimi with a Value Innovation Award 2 consecutive years. And Yoshimi has served as president of the American Society of Head and Neck Radiology, the Association of University Radiologists, and the American Association for Women in Radiology. In 2019, she received the AAWR Marie Curie Award. She's a 3-time recipient of the RSNA's Honored Educator Award, and she devotes a great deal of her time and talent to mentoring trainees. In fact, in 2019, her radiology residents presented her with the Best Mentor Award. So in recognition of her remarkable contributions to radiology research, education, her dedication to advocating for vulnerable populations, I am so proud to present the RSNA Gold Medal to Dr. Yoshimi Anzai.
Thank you so much. This is so incredible and unbelievable. In 1990, that was my first RSNA meeting. 30 years ago, I was sitting in a way back in the area crown, and I watched the Sunday film reading session and said, wow, I want to be that radiologist. And just excited, so much excitement, I still remember. In the past 30 years, countless people, countless colleagues and friends taught me, mentored me, and gave me opportunities from UCLA to University of Michigan, University of Washington, and University of Utah. I'm ever grateful for those people who dedicated time to teach me and mentor me. And also, so many wonderful people that I get to know through the radiology organizations, such as RSNA, ACR, AUR, AAWR, SNR, SHNR. There's a countless number of society that I get to know, and all of you gave me a tremendous advice. And you inspired me to be a better clinician, educator, researcher, and mentor. I also wanted to extend my thanks to my family, my husband, Satoshi Minoshima, who is my best friend, partner, a mentor, and the social media photo editor, for that matter. And also his continuous encouragement to make impact. We also like to thank our daughter, Erica, who is not here today, but she reminds us that life is so precious and full of blessing. And I could not be standing here without all of you that supported me for the past 30 years. And I'm going to be receiving this gold medal on a token of my father's commitment to mentor students and trainees and creating an inclusive environment in our organization, as well as advancing a medicine to improve patient care. So thank you so much.
Congratulations. All right, you're all set. Thank you. All right, our next recipient, Dr. Richard L. Eman, an innovative leader with a passion for reimagining technology. He's a professor of radiology and the Blanche R. and Richard J. Erlanger Professor of Medical Research at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. A native originally of Canada, Dick rose to the rank of full professor of radiology within 10 years after joining the faculty at Mayo Clinic. And throughout his career, Dick has advocated for rethinking the use of advanced medical imaging technologies, placing a focus on value to extend the utility and accessibility of the most powerful techniques. He invented MR elastography. He holds more than 80 US and international patents for the technologies that he's developed. Internationally recognized for his talent and vision, Dick was elected to the US National Academy of Medicine in 2010. He has served as chair of the National Institutes of Health Radiology and Nuclear Medicine Studies section, and as a member of the National Institute of Biomedical Engineering and Imaging Advisory Council. He is a past president of RSNA. It was a pleasure to work with him. He is the Academy of Radiology and Biomedical Imaging Research past president of the International Society for Magnetic Resonance in Medicine and the Society for Advanced Body Imaging. He's also served as a member of the RSNA R&E Foundation Board of Trustees. Dick has been awarded gold medals by the International Society for Magnetic Resonance in Medicine, the Asian Ocean Society of Radiology, and the Society for Advanced Body Imaging. He was named RSNA Outstanding Researcher back in 2006, and for his key role in shaping radiology research and his international leadership, I am proud to present the RSNA Gold Medal to Dr. Richard Eman.
Wow, what an honor. Many thanks, Mary, for your truly kind introduction. I'm deeply grateful to the leadership and members of the RSNA for this really wonderful recognition. But to be honest, it strikes me as a bit unfair to receive an award for doing things that have been so much fun, such a joy, and so rewarding over the years. You know, starting with the privilege of being a physician, and then to be fortunate to have a career in a field that has been so indispensable in medicine. Nearly 4 decades ago, as a newly minted radiologist, I was incredibly lucky to be in the right place at the right time to get involved in a new area of imaging. And I was privileged at that time to work with doctors and physicists to explore the clinical applications of a strange new technology called magnetic resonance imaging. No one had any idea what any of the pathology or anatomy even should really look like with this strange new modality. Almost anything we could figure out at that time was new knowledge. What fun we had, and still do. And is there anything more exciting and fulfilling than applying your new knowledge to take better care of patients? But many of you will know that around that time, the academic medical community had a pretty low opinion of radiology research. Even as researchers, we were often regarded as just the radiology support for the real investigators. Our focus on technology to advance healthcare somehow seemed less profound than the researchers focusing on pure biologic science. But the academic medical community obviously has come around in a huge way since then. Radiology's strategy of applying physics, math, engineering, anything in biomedicine is now called convergent science. And as many of you know, the hottest new federal medical research program initiative right now is called ARPA-H. And the White House wants to spend $6.5 billion next year to develop technologies that can radically advance healthcare. Anyway, I'm deeply grateful for the friendship and mentorship of colleagues over the years, too many to name now. I'm grateful to students, residents, and fellows that I've been privileged to work with. Their contributions have been crucial in almost all the work I've done. Their success has been a great source of satisfaction in my career. For more than 3 decades, the annual meeting of the Radiological Society of North America has been a high point each year for me. To serve on the board and then as president in 2017 was a singular honor that I will always cherish. Finally, I would say that throughout my career, I've had the benefit of guidance from a very wise person, and that is my life partner of 45 years, Margaret Houston. As many of you know, Margaret is a family doctor, and her patients love her. She has taken care over the last 3 decades, she has taken care of families spanning as many as 5 generations. I'm so grateful to Margaret and to our children, Catherine, Jeffrey, Eric, for their love, for their encouragement over the years, and for being such a source of inspiration. Thank you again to the leadership and members of the RSNA for this wonderful honor.
All right, our final recipient, Dr. Jonathan S. Lewin, is a pioneering scientist and a highly respected leader in radiology. He's helped to revolutionize interventional and intraoperative MR imaging, and he is a renowned leader in academic medicine and integrative healthcare delivery. Dr. Lewin serves as Executive Vice President for Health Affairs at Emory University. He's the Executive Director of the Woodruff Health Sciences Center and CEO and Chair of the Board of Directors at Emory Healthcare in Atlanta. He also holds professorships in radiology and imaging sciences and in biomedical engineering at the Emory School of Medicine and is a professor of health policy and management in the Rollins School of Public Health at Emory. As a researcher, John investigated novel MR imaging and interventional methods while these were still techniques in their infancy. His Yale thesis was published in Radiology a year after his graduation. John holds 28 US patents and 7 international patents. He served as principal investigator or co-investigator on numerous NIH-funded and other major grant projects. Over the past 2 decades, he's lent his expertise to quality improvement initiatives, advances in radiology informatics, and healthcare transformation. A renowned leader, John is a past president of the American Rank and Race Society, the Association of University Radiologists, the Society of Chairs of Academic Radiology Departments, and the Academy for Radiology and Biomedical Imaging Research. He was recognized among Georgia's Trend's 100 Most Influential Georgians and the Atlantic Business Chronicle's Most Admired CEOs. He's been awarded gold medals from the AUR, the AARS, and the Leadership Luminary Award of the Radiology Leadership Institute from the American College of Radiology. In recognition of his extensive contributions to radiology research, quality, and health policy, I am pleased to present the RSNA Gold Medal to Dr. Jonathan Lewin.
Great. Well, thank you, Mayor, for that wonderful introduction. And I'd like to thank the RSNA and all of its members and its committees for this unbelievable award. As I sat here and thinking about getting this top honor from such an incredible society, I thought back to my first paper that I presented, which was in 1988 here at the RSNA as a resident on MR angiography. And like Dick, I share the good fortune of having so much fun in what I was doing in my research career throughout. So I really want to acknowledge my colleagues, both my radiology and scientific colleagues at Case Western Reserve, University Hospice of Cleveland, and in particular my MR research group and colleagues there who are just so seminal in the scientific advances that we had. I want to thank my colleagues at the Russell H. Morgan Department of Radiology and Radiological Science at Johns Hopkins University. There I really learned how eminence in radiology looks through the outstanding clinicians and radiology researchers that I worked with there. And I'd like to recognize the leadership mentors that I had both at Johns Hopkins Medicine as well as at Emory in terms of teaching me so much as I transitioned into the leadership component of my career. I also want to recognize the mentors that I had, and like Dick, some of my mentors were my students, my postdocs, some of the junior faculty who I had the privilege of helping. But there were some people who were really important in my life, in my career, and that includes Dr. Paul Hoffer, who was a giant of nuclear medicine, who was my thesis advisor when I was a medical student. And who really taught me what being a gentleman's scholar as an academician looked like. Dr. John Haga, many of you know in Cleveland at Case Western Reserve, for showing what sort of the incredible intellectual curiosity that has lasted him throughout his career and his life. And then lastly, I want to recognize Dr. Hugh Curtin, most recently at Mass Eye and Ear, for showing me what a teacher really looked like. And there are a few friends and colleagues who unfortunately can't be here to hear that, and those include Bill Bradley, Frank Yolez, Gary Glazer, Rich Barron, again, who were really important to me early in my career as great friends, as role models, along with the many people in this room who've helped me throughout my career as well. And last, I just want to mention my family, of course, my parents who set such an incredible example, and most importantly, the love of my life, Linda, who's here, who for the last 45 years since we started dating in high school has put up with me, which is truly, it should get a gold medal, I think, and has given us our wonderful family, our two kids, Sarah and Ben, wonderful son-in-law, Joe Hari, and they make us proud every day. So with that, thank you to the RSNA. Thank you, Mary, for this incredible honor.
A lot of smiles. All right, so this year we have the pleasure of presenting 3 honorary memberships to RSNA. They are Dr. Boris Berlicich, Dr. Soong Hyup Kim, and Dr. Harriet Teoni. So we'll begin with Dr. Boris. Hailed for establishing a life-saving breast cancer screening program in his native Croatia, Dr. Boris Berlicich is a chair of radiology at the University Hospital Dubrava and vice dean, full professor, and chair of radiology cathedra at the University of Zagreb School of Medicine. Boris's research interests include Doppler ultrasound for exploring vascular flow in kidney disease, head and neck pathology, and peripheral arterial disease. He introduced BIRADS to Croatia, where mortality from breast cancer has been consistently dropping since that screening program was established in 2006. In addition to his critical work as head of the Radiology Advisory Board of Croatia's Ministry of Health for the National Breast Cancer Screening Program, Boris has served in numerous influential leadership positions, including Vice President of the Croatian Medicals Association, President of the Croatian Society of Ultrasound in Medicine and Biology, and President of the Croatian Society of Radiology. He's also served internationally, including on the Executive Council and Board of Directors of the European Society of Radiology, where he is the immediate past president. He's also Secretary General for the International Society of Radiology, serves on the board of the International Society for Strategic Studies in Radiology, and Boris has been recognized for his excellence in teaching and research throughout his entire career. Last year, he was presented with the Andrej Stamper Award from the University of Zagreb, honoring his dedication to researching and mentoring young professionals. For his international contributions to radiology, his significant role in improving breast cancer care in Croatia, I am so pleased to present Dr. Boris Brličić with RSNA Honorary Membership.
Oh, thank you. Dear Professor Mahoney, dear Mary, thank you for this wonderful introduction, and I'm deeply grateful to the board of the RSNA for granting me the Society's honorary membership, and this is undoubtedly the crown of my professional career so far. The influence of the United States on worldwide radiology education is tremendous, and very early in my career, I was fortunate to have an opportunity to receive training at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia, and this had a considerable impact on my future career and professional development. And later, I had the privilege to visit Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, where I learned breast MRI. I come from a very small European nation of only 4 million inhabitants, and the receipt of the honorary membership of the RSNA is a great honor, not only for me personally, but also by extension for the University of Zagreb School of Medicine, where I earned my degree, as well as for the Croatian Society of Radiology, which is crucial to the progress of radiology in my country. Over the decades, RSNA has provided superb educational and research opportunities to its members and to radiologists all around the globe. I had the privilege of being a leader of European Society of Radiology, and our close cooperation with the RSNA and the friendships we developed are treasures I will always cherish. It has been rewarding to see the quality of European radiology improve over the years, and much of this progress has been enabled by both the ESR and the RSNA. Now I have the privilege to serve as the Secretary General of the International Society of Radiology with prominent radiologists from 6 continents, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with RSNA representatives in the ISR, and jointly we will try to improve the quality of radiology in low and middle income countries, which is the primary mission of the ISR. Finally, I would like to mention and thank some of my dear teachers and mentors to whom I am eternally grateful. And in the United States, these are the late Alex Margulis, Hedi Hricak, and Barry Goldberg. In Croatia, Branko Brajer, and many others. And also, I'm very fortunate to have had the strong and continuous support of my wife, Diana, who is here for over 35 years. And I dedicate this award to her, to our sons, Marko and Branimir, and our grandchildren, Bruna, Luka, and Borna. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Our next honoree is Dr. Sung H. Kim. He is a natural leader dedicated to advancing knowledge worldwide. He is a professor emeritus of radiology and urology at Seoul National University Hospital in the Republic of Korea, and founder of the public education-driven K Radiology Clinic. A trailblazer in the field, Sung's devotion to open global collaboration is clear. He served as Secretary General of the 11th Congress of the World Federation for Ultrasound in Medicine and Biology, held in Seoul in 2006. His work was instrumental in transforming the Korean Society of Ultrasound and Medicine, and he expanded the Society's annual Congress to an international one. From 2019 to earlier this year, Seung served as president of the foundation. After military service, he became a radiology instructor at SNU and a visiting radiology at the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. At SNU, his work focused on genitourinary imaging, serving as a professor of both radiology and urology. He was named Associate Dean of the University in 2002, served as the Department Chair of Radiology from 2008 to 2010, and then was appointed Vice President of the University Hospital. Now retired, Seung continues to serve as a consultant in kidney ultrasound and urogenital CT and MR, most notably at the Ewha Women's University Mokdong Hospital in Seoul. Seung also directs a professional imaging clinic in a nephrology hospital, and he has established the website kradiology.com to freely share tutorials with colleagues and trainees on urogenital topics that may not be extensively taught in the clinical setting. He encourages his fellow senior specialists to also share their own knowledge on that site for generations of trainees. For his contributions to radiology on an international scale, I am pleased to present Dr. Seung Hyep Kim with RSNA Honorary Membership.
Thank you, President Mahoney, for your kind introduction. Thank RSNA for giving me this honor, a lifetime urogenital radiologist. As President Mahoney mentioned, I'm enjoying another life after mandatory retirement from the National University Hospital in Korea. And I'm enjoying with a specific condition now, the nutcracker syndrome. I had been interested in this condition for quite a long time, but during the past 2 years, working with my nephrology colleagues, I found we know very little and even wrong about this syndrome. I'm sure it is a very common condition, and we investigate too little and neglected too much about this condition and those patients with cause unknown hematuria or proteinuria. I accept this honor humbly, keeping in mind that RSNA encourages me to continue to share things I found with this condition with my colleagues. I think this might be a way of making radiologists more visible to our patients. I want to share this honor with my colleagues, the WOFM, World Federation of Ultrasound, and the Korean Radiological Society, and my family, my wife Byung-hee here with me as always. Thank you very much.
It's a lot to hold. Thank you very much. I felt like Miss America there for a minute. Okay. Recognizing across the globe for her pioneering applications of functional MRI in genitourinary and head and neck radiology. Dr. Harriet Tooney chairs the radiology departments at the Cantonal Hospitals of Freiburg in Switzerland. Her mentorship and global collaborations are truly remarkable. Harriet has led grant-funded research projects that explore diffusion-weighted functional MRI in novel applications, many of which are now standard in clinical practice. She's investigated the detection of lymph node metastases in normal-sized nodes in both prostate and bladder cancers, MR imaging biomarkers for chronic kidney disease, monitoring of radiation therapy for head and neck tumors, and the evaluation of kidney function by multimodal MR imaging and renal transplantation. Harry is an adjunct professor of urology at the University of Bern and a full professor of radiology at the University of Freiburg, the only bilingual university in Switzerland. Her love of teaching, languages, and diverse cultures is evident in her mentorship, in her myriad of international partnerships, and her fluency in 7 languages. A renowned consultant and enthusiastic collaborator, she has contributed to the development of international guidelines, including serving on the PIRED steering committee. Harriet served as president of ESUR from 2016 to 2018 and introduced the European Diploma in Urogenital Radiology. She served RSNA as associate editor of radiology, as a member of the International Advisory Committee, and as vice chair and chair of the RSNA Regional Committee for Europe. In recognition of her international leadership in radiology research and education, I am pleased to present Dr. Harriet Tooney with RSNA honorary membership.
So thank you very much indeed to RSNA, especially to Dr. Mary Mahoney and the Board of Directors for giving me this unique recognition, something I never thought in my life. And I remember the night I couldn't sleep and I looked at my mails, and then I got this mail from Mary telling me that I will become a honorary member. And this was a huge surprise for me, just unbelievable. And a surprise usually triggers the search of understanding the unknown. And this is actually the same what happens in research. In science, sometimes you want to find out something, you have a hypothesis, and then sometimes the result is completely different. So this is a surprise. And I think in an academic career, to be very honest, what is, I think, the biggest fun is working together with people beyond any borders and to do the best for our patients. And I have to admit, to be very honest with you, it's also a little bit egoistic for me because I deeply love people from all over, and this was actually a unique opportunity for me to meet so many lovely people who inspired me. And I think it is important to aspire to inspire before we expire. I have been inspired by so many of you, and I hope that I also could inspire some of you along my way, and I still will. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Harriet. So the RSNA recognizes and honors individuals who've made significant contributions to the field of radiologic sciences throughout their careers in research and education. And the Board of Directors is proud to present the 2021 Outstanding Researcher Award to Dr. Pamela K. Woodard. A leading researcher in cardiothoracic imaging and a generous mentor, Pam specializes in cardiac CT and MR techniques and in translating novel cardiovascular PET radio tracers in human subjects. She's truly an outstanding researcher who's respected not only for her enormous success in funded research, but her so generous mentoring of so many of our future leaders in imaging research. Pam is the Hugh Monroe Wilson Professor of Radiology and Professor of Biomedical Engineering at the Mallinckrodt Institute of Radiology at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. She's also the Senior Vice Chair and Division Director of Radiology Research Facilities, the Director of the Center for Clinical Imaging Research, and Head of Cardiac MR and CT. She's the Director of the Radiology Resident Research Tract and the Program Director of the NIH-funded T32 Top Tier Clinician Scientist Training Program in Translational Imaging Research. Following early success in securing grant funding, including 2 research grants from the RSNA R&E Foundation, Pam secured multiple NIH grants. Early in her career, she was a principal investigator on the landmark NIH-funded PIOPED-2 project, which established multi-detector CT as the principal method for pulmonary embolism diagnosis. Pam currently leads her own research program and is either a PI or an MPI on 3 NIH R01 grants for the translation of cardiovascular radiotracers into humans. She's also received numerous awards for her work, including being named as an Academy of Radiology and Biomedical Imaging Research Distinguished Investigator. For her enormous contributions to radiology research, I am pleased to present the RSNA Outstanding Research Award to Dr. Pam Woodard.
Well, thank you, everyone. First, I really have to thank the RSNA. I probably wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the RSNA. As Mary mentioned, the 2 grants that I got sort of ensured that I became faculty at Mallinckrodt and, sort of launched my career. I also have to thank my husband. My husband's been phenomenal. He's been a great support to me over the years. And then also, I want to thank my daughter, who has willingly, over the last few years, been shooed out of the house back to her home state of her home, Washington, D.C., so that I can head off to the RSNA. We had to do that this year, headed off to the airport together. And then I also want to thank the Mallinckrodt Institute of Radiology and Rich Wall and Gil Yost and Ron Evans, essentially for creating the infrastructure and the culture that supports research and promotes young investigators. Also, all of my colleagues, I see Sanjeev Bala sitting over there, a number of others. So for their support as I'm off doing research, coming back doing clinical work. So thanks much.
Thank you. You can go this way. All right, the deserving recipient of the 2021 Outstanding Educator is Dr. Adam Flanders. A prolific mentor, author, and pioneer for digital learning, Adam is a professor of radiology and rehabilitation medicine and vice chair of enterprise imaging informatics at Thomas Jefferson University in Philadelphia. Adam has been a huge contributor to radiology and in so many venues, from neuroradiology to AI to informatics. He has furthered our specialty through teaching, through service, and through research. Through his service to organized radiology, Adam has spearheaded and collaborated on numerous efforts to enhance radiology education throughout publications and technology. He was the Informatics Associate Editor for Radiographics, and he serves on the RSNA News editorial board. During his time as chair of the RSNA RIC, the Radiology Informatics Committee, Adam actively encouraged radiologists to become involved in the EHR selection processes in their hospitals, advocating for engagement in the meaningful use initiatives and championing the development of robust electronic teaching files, ultimately leading to the development of the RSNA case collection. As chair of the RSNA Digital Roadmap Steering Committee, Adam collaborated on the project with several stakeholder organizations, including the National Institutes of Health. He's also helped to facilitate neuroimaging-based RSNA AI challenges in partnership with the American Society of Neuroradiology. Adam is a past president of the American Society of Spine Radiology and has served in multiple roles for ASNR, including as current chair of the ASNR Common Data Elements Work Group in collaboration with the ACR and RSNA. In 2013, he was named a Society for Imaging Informatics and Medicine Fellow for his contributions to the field. And in recognition of his many achievements in leadership and radiology education, I am pleased to present the RSNA Outstanding Educator Award to Dr. Adam Flanders.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Mahoney, and thank you, everybody, for being here. You know, I thought nothing could get better than seeing Michigan beat Ohio State on Saturday. Go Blue, Dr. Dunnick. All right. But I have to say, this really kind of beats it. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, I'm so grateful and touched that this organization that has meant so much to me over many decades at this point would choose to honor me in this way. Considering the fact that there are so many outstanding educators in this organization to begin with, many of the people who have mentored me are sitting in this room today. So to be honored this way is amazing, and to look down at the list at all the neuroradiologists that are past recipients of this award, like Dave Usum and Mark Mullins, Jim Smirniotopoulos, Ian Osborne. I mean, these are the people that taught me. So this really means a lot, really a lot to me. I want to thank a couple of people right at the top, because they're sitting right back there. My wife, Deborah, and my daughter, Danielle. Thanks for putting up with my nonsense all these years. And, you know, this is part of the reason why. Round of applause for you too. I also want to thank my chair, Vijay Rao, and past president of the RSNA from 2018, who really kind of has encouraged me to encourage my interest and my passions and my obsessions over the years. And also my prior chair, the late Dave Levin, who also did many of the same things for me as her predecessor. I also want to give a shout out to the RSNA Informatics Committee, which has really been a home to me for many years, and many of the people on that committee are some of the smartest and most creative people I've ever met in my life, and have taught me incredible things over the years. And I'd also want to thank everybody back home in Philadelphia at Jefferson, you know, my colleagues, and especially the residents and the fellows who make it fun to go to work every day. So thank you again for the honor, and thanks for being here.
Now you can go.
All right.
Good job, Adam. All right, the annual Alex Margulis Award for Scientific Excellence recognizes the best original article published in our journal Radiology for the year, and it is named for Dr. Alice Margulis. Dr. Margulis was a distinguished investigator and inspiring visionary leader in the science of radiology. The 2021 Margulis Award is presented for the article, "The Beneficial Effect of Consecutive Screening Mammography Examinations on Mortality from Breast Cancer, a Prospective Study." It was published in Radiology in March of 2021. The lead authors are Dr. Laszlo Tabar, Professor Emeritus at the University of Uppsala in Sweden, and Dr. Stephen Duffy, Professor of Cancer Screening at Queen Mary University in London. In this study, which was funded by the American Cancer Society, Drs. Tabar and Duffy and a multinational team of researchers took a very detailed look at screening attendance patterns to further refine mortality risk estimates. They analyzed data from more than 500,000 women who are eligible for mammography screening between the years 1992 and 2016. And their analysis showed that participation in the two most recent screening appointments before a breast cancer diagnosis provided a higher detection against breast cancer death than participation in neither or only one of those 2 previous screening exams. The incidence of breast cancers proving fatal within 10 years of diagnosis was 50% lower for serial participants. Compared to women who attended only one of the 2 previous screen appointments before a cancer diagnosis, women who attended both screening appointments had a 29% reduction in breast cancer mortality. Now, these findings have the potential to make a very positive impact on worldwide breast cancer screening, particularly in light of the challenges that the pandemic has posed in terms of access to timely screening for mammography. And so in recognition of this important work, the radiology article, Benefit Effect of Consecutive Screening Mammography Examinations on Mortality from Breast Cancer, a prospective study, was selected for the 2021 RSNA Margulis Award for Scientific Excellence. Drs. Tabar and Duffy, the lead authors, are unable to join us today, and accepting the award on their behalf is a member of their research team, very well known to many of us in the breast imaging world, Dr. Peter Dean, Professor Emeritus of Radiology at the University of Turku Faculty of Medicine in Finland.
Thank you, President Mahoney, for your very kind words and your exceptionally clear understanding of the work that we did.
I know a little bit about it.
Yeah. I'm in the right place. Yeah. I am pleased to accept the Alexander Margulis Prize on behalf of Laszlo Tabar, Stephen Duffy, and the entire Swedish Organized Service Screening Evaluation Group, or SAUSAGE for short. Laszlo Tabar established this research group 4 decades ago to prospectively and systematically evaluate the impact of early detection on breast cancer screening, of breast cancer screening upon disease-specific mortality in a defined and stable population. Professor Tabar's research group has held major workshops at least twice a year and published the findings in more than 100 original peer-reviewed articles, including, I might add, the first Alexander Margulis Prize 9 years ago. Thank you for repeating this excellent choice. As for myself, I have been a student, colleague, and friend of Laszlo Tabar for the past 5 decades. I was also fortunate to work and study in Alex Margulis' department at UCSF 40 years ago, working with Al Moss and Marty Lipton. Before that, I had the opportunity to work in Harry Fisher's department and presented some of that work at the Erie Crown Theater in 1978. And finally, I wish to remember Lucy Frank Squire, who gave these wonderful hands-on teaching sessions at the Mass General when I was a medical student. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I guess take it home.
You get to take it home.
Okay. I'll go this way.
Yeah, thank you. Well, congratulations again to all of our 2021 awardees and honorees. It's just truly inspiring to see so much talent and dedication to the specialty of radiology all in one room at one time. The work of this year's distinguished honorees has not only moved radiology forward in countless ways, but perhaps more importantly has sparked a generation of newly committed professionals focused on improving patient care. This concludes our presentation. Thank you all for joining us in this celebration for both the 2020 and 21 awardees and honorees. Please continue to enjoy your food, your meal, and mingle with our guests, and enjoy the rest of your week here. Thanks so much.